The building of your page and setting everything up is one part, but checking if it's actually understandable by search engines and also good for sharing it on social media network sites is another part. Today we are going to talk about a couple of ways how you can check your page if it's actually good for SEO and if it's shareable on social media sites. Of course, there are all kinds of experts out there who can do this analyzing for you, but I think it's good to kind of feel yourself around and see how you could improve your site and learn a little more about improvements. If, however, this is too technical for you, you can still then go to someone and say, hey, I have seen this problem, can you help me improve that? So let's dive right into all of these tools, and I have linked all of them in the description below as well, so you can check your own website with those tools. What you can see here is the page that I built in the Cornerstone editor tutorial. And this is of course not a perfect website. This is just an example and I want to use this to continue this tutorial. Now the first tool that I want to share with you is the Pingdom speed test, and this is a tool that just checks the website speed and load time. So you can see for one how it's performing in different servers. So here they actually offer 2 USA servers, 1 Australian server and 1 European server. So you can check the speed of your website in different countries. And then you have all kinds of analysis down here where it shows how much time it took it to load the page, how fast you are compared to other websites, which size your page has, and the requests it took to actually build the page. And you also have the performance insights here where you have all kinds of details, and you actually will have to go into these and read them manually because those are pretty different for every website. And also it can get very technical right here, and you have to kind of know your way around how to fix those things. And maybe this is something where you need someone else to actually look at it. If this is the case, please feel free to email me. I can check your site as well, and we can also find a way to work together to improve it further. One thing about these details is that, for example, using WordPress, some of these things are really hard to fix because you're not in control of everything. There are certain parts of the website that are just coded in WordPress. There are some that can be changed with plugins, but there are some others that are really hard to change or to fix in this list. So it will never get perfect, but you can get better with time and also using all kinds of plugins, for example, in terms of leveraging different kinds of caching. And one of the biggest parts in terms of page speed is actually download speed. So you will have to kind of get the page size down, and this can be done by reducing image size or removing images altogether. Once you have this speed test and insights done, you can then also analyze all this with the Google Speed Test Analyzer. And this tool I find a little less kind of informative because, as you can see here, you have the should fix and the consider fixing and the 6 pass rules, but you have much less information than with this speed test where you have a lot more information where the size is actually and where you can improve. But it is another speed test and you maybe should take a look because it is considered in terms of the search ranking for your website, of course. The next step, I would say, is checking if your website is actually mobile friendly. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to use the Google Search Mobile Friendly test. And as you can see, the Cornerstone site we built for the University User Test site is actually mobile friendly, and it is green basically. So this page is pretty okay. This page loading issue here is just an image that I forgot to kind of fix, but obviously this is not really considering the mobile friendliness. The next tool I have on my list is the sharing debugger for Facebook, and you can see here that the link preview would be very weird without picture and also with a very strange text right there because there is actually nothing set up yet. This is something where the plugin Yoast SEO comes in, which is able to already set all these kinds of tags. So if you install that and did all the setup for the Yoast SEO tool, this should be much better, and it also should have less warnings up here. Once you have checked this page with the debugger once, you actually have to click this scrape again button if you want to scrape it again, because it otherwise would just take the last information it already has. But if you want to actually share links on the social medias, this is a place where you can check the pages, and it's also the place where you can update the information Facebook has, because if you share a link for a post, for example, it actually downloads the picture and the text and the description and stuff to the Facebook server, and once someone else shares it again in a certain time frame, it will not recheck the website. So if you want to update this information and have the newest available, you will have to click this scrape again, and then if you actually post this link in a new post, then it would also automatically be updated with the new information and not with the old information that Facebook already knows about. Once this is done, the social sharing for Facebook should work perfectly, and there's a similar tool for Twitter, but as I mentioned, I have not set up the Yoast thing, and with Twitter there's actually a whitelisting process that you have to go through to actually be able to have card previews on there. To do all this kind of setup, you can actually go into the developer tools with Twitter and then set everything up. The next thing I would recommend you to do is actually, for one, use Google Analytics for the website in general. And the second part would be to set up the Search Console, because the Search Console actually helps you to know more about the website and how Google understands it and how often, for example, Google also crawls it. And additionally, you will actually get emails if there are any problems when crawling the website, and you can then try to fix those. Also, this actually gives you information about how many people search your website and how they find it. So you can actually see more data about the website and how people find it, and not just how they interact with the site on the search itself. You will also be able to see how many pages are indexed. So you can see here how many pages Google crawled. And with the sitemap, for example, you can also see how many pages are actually submitted into the index and how many pages are indexed. And the same thing works with pictures. This Search Console itself is very, very powerful, especially in terms of search analysis, to see what people are searching for and how many people actually click once they search something like this. And you can do many, many things. And this is also very helpful to actually use it if you have a blog, for example, to know what people find you for. And then you can, for example, write another article about something people actually search for, and then they end up on your website. And this way you can improve your ranking. What you can do here as well is show the position. For example, you can see that if someone searches for baking process, we are on number 1, so people actually find us. But if someone searches for a Bavarian pretzel, for example, we are actually on place number 25. And that is not really the best thing, because we actually have a good video about this topic, and it would be nice to be higher ranked in this case. The last two tools I want to talk about are kind of generic SEO tests, and these are very powerful, but they also have a lot of information in there, and many things are actually fixable with the Yoast SEO plugin. So here, for example, you see that it checks for the meta description first, and you can also see how the page would look if you're finding it on Google. So, for example, we don't have a meta description right now, and this means that there's nothing beneath the title here. Once we would set this up, and again, this is something you would do in the Yoast SEO tool, then this would be very easy to be fixed. Other things you see is that there are most common keyword tests, so it would actually try to see how often those words occur on your website. And you have all kinds of HTML tests with the H1 heading status, the H2 heading status. If you have a robots.txt, and then you can just go through this list and see how many of these you can fix yourself. And once you're through with everything you fix yourself, you can then decide if you actually want to get some expert advice to actually try to fix the others. Because again, some of these are never going to be fixed. There is almost no possibility to get to 100%. The last tool is this Found SEO tool. It's again something very similar to the one previously. You have a list of stuff that gets checked. You can look into the list which things actually worked and which things you should change or where you can do some improvements. It is much less in depth than the other test that was just before, but it's another tool that you can check in addition to the others. Now I want to leave you with one more tool which is pretty interesting, and it's just something that is kind of powerful to know about competitors or just websites you visit quite regularly to get some more information of how big they actually are, for example. So if you go here to SimilarWeb, and I have linked that in the description as always, and if you, for example, want to check the popularity of a website, let's say I want to check the popularity of our baking process website, for example. So we just enter baking process, and then there's the website right there. And to be honest, it's probably not that big. So once you see these, you get the global rank, your country rank, and a category rank. And as you can see, we have less than 5,000 visits, but we have an average visit duration of 3 minutes, average pages per visit of 3.58, and in general our visitors are coming from Germany, which makes a lot of sense because this is actually a German project. So if you're interested in any website, you can just go here and check how this website actually compares to other websites. So let's say we want to check Facebook, for example. So now we can see Facebook is world ranked number 2, and we have it on country ranked number 2 as well. The page actually has an estimated 24.5 billion visits per month, and the average visit duration is 16 minutes, which is kind of insane. insane. But if we want to, for example, compare this with YouTube, we can also do that, and then we can actually see that Facebook has more visits per month, but YouTube has a longer visit duration. And then you can just scroll through here, see where the traffic is coming from, and then if you subscribe to the services from SimilarWeb, you can see much more. But I found this information, the total visits and the average visit duration, is a very powerful insight into how big people or websites actually are. And sometimes it's actually quite interesting how small some websites are, but they look very professionally. And then you have other websites that maybe you think they would be quite small, but then you check this here and you notice that they are actually quite big. And this just helps more in terms of competitor analysis and also just seeing in general how popular websites are. I hope this video was helpful for you and you can check your websites based on this kind of tools and then improve, obviously. If you have any problems or questions, please leave them in the comments below. And of course, if you want to do this check with me personally or work with me to actually improve the performance of your website or in general the whole building of your website, please email me. The email is also in the description down below. Lastly, please share this video with someone who needs some SEO tips or needs to take his website more seriously and improve it a little bit. Also, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this almost every day. I will see you in the next video, and until then, have a great day. Bye.